Just laying together, man. Glad to have you guys. What's going on, Will? The King Talk Paul Bearer is here. He says, Dory G. What's going on? We got Kyrie's doing a test in there. Judge Dreads says, I'm here. Fishing the fit. Good evening, everyone. As you guys come in, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And if you are catching this on a replay, hit that like button. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. All right, Viz, thank y'all there. Might have to do a well-being check on these fellas. Viz, Hank, y'all there? I'll check on there. How you doing, Miss Callie? How's your day going?
My day's going great. How are you?
No complaints, man. I woke up this morning, so that's all that really matters. It's the most important thing. Because if we're not here, then we're not going to be able to get the opportunity to complain. So that's why I always just grateful just to be able to wake up and enjoy life.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, hold it down real quick. Let me check on Hank and Viz, make sure they're still good.
Okay. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on to the Lapeef Show. My name is Callie. Kai the guy. We got Lapeef. We got Hank. We got Viz. Waiting on everybody to come on in. You know, come on over. Come on over, baby. What's up, chat? How y'all doing? Happy hump day. You know what I mean? It's hump day. We got 2 more days to go. We're gonna kill it. Make sure you guys kill it. Get these days going. Did Callie just roll her eyes? Why don't I roll your eyes, Judge Dreads? I wouldn't roll my eyes at you. Come on now. I love y'all. Even when you guys don't love me all the time.
Which is crazy, right?
But, you know, which is crazy.
Which is crazy.
We just have different opinions, you feel me? But I'm still a human being like you. I feel too, you know? But we're so happy to have you here. I like you, at Callie. I like you too, Judge Dreads. Why do they call you Judge Dreads? Dory, we got Scorched the Earth. Damn, he scorched the earth. That's crazy. We got Dale. Who else we have up in here? For some reason, I'm not able to chat in these comments. So if I do not respond to your chat in the comment, I'm sorry. I have technical difficulties with that. But I do see your comments. Just heads up. We're going to have a great show, you guys. So it's going to be very interesting. Waiting on some females to come on in. If there are any ladies in the chat that want to come on up, please let us know. We will bring you up because I do not want to be the only lady in the dog pound. Callie, just so you know, I am a gamer like you, and we need to have a panel discussing ladies like us. Let's go, Dory. I would love to have a panel discussing ladies like us. We need more female gamers. The Callie show? That sounds like a ring to it. They said we should have a Callie show, Lapeef. What do you think of that?
That might be a good idea.
I think that might be a great idea. Might have put something in the works. I call myself that. People call me Tony, but that's not my name either. Ooh. He said, I like to be mysterious. He's like, I have multiple names.
Hey, Callie, did you catch any of that King Talk last night?
I did. I caught a little bit of it, like the tail end of it. I saw, what was his name, talking, and then I got sick and I had to leave. Well, what happened? What I missed?
No, I just thought I'm just going to ask you what you thought about it.
I caught the tail end of it. I got sick and I had to go, to the doctor because I couldn't breathe. But now, so I'm good.
Yeah, I'm glad you're good. What's going on, AP? Dory G. Oh, Dory G is a woman. Okay.
AP, the accountability partner. I like that. AP said, I'm going to hold you accountable, and that ain't. Shout out to AP. Picking the hate, glad to see you. Aw, look at it. You guys have all built like a little. Callie should do a Ren Money Game 3 reaction. Ooh, that's a good idea. Yo, old blindy, I will do that this week. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do a Ren Money game reaction. I do music reactions, so I've never done a video game reaction, so that's gonna be fun. We'll do that. I gotta create my own gamer page on Instagram because I need to separate my music from my gamer stuff. So I'll probably have a different Instagram for that.
Mm-hmm.
Ask Viz. I'm a well-rounded a-hole to everyone. I don't think you're an a-hole. I think you say what's on your mind unfiltered, and because people are sensitive. Nah, you're probably just an asshole, but it's cool. We're all assholes in some way or another. Ren is a musician. Oh, okay, for sure. Then I'll definitely do a reaction to that. The Thursday energy was real last night. Ooh. Wait. What's this Thursday energy? What you mean? So tomorrow we're gonna have a different type of energy? I can't take those things. I get a headache after the first 10 minutes of hearing someone talk some bullshit. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know about y'all, but I be getting headaches.
Well, the Thursday
Unfortunately.
energy, the Thursday was always the night that it was cracking, the night that it went
Mm,
down, the night that it was the most dramatic. So on other shows, other days, they always say it's not the Thursday show. We'll leave that Thursday
wow.
energy somewhere else. So when people come on
Mm.
the show, they look for a different temperature other than what's presented on Thursday. So that's where that
So
comes.
they trying to get in with the heat on the Thursday nights. That's interesting. I'm new here, but I like the program. Judge Dredge, we love having you here. Welcome everyone that is new, and welcome everyone that is not new. And we hope you guys have a great time. Y'all are new. Thursday energy is a thing. I am new. Thursday energy is a thing, which makes sense because damn, you gotta have your music that loud. Jesus criminy. Um, yeah, which makes sense because every Thursday I'm on here, I just feel like my headache gets even worse. Have to use the account because JR has to shout out donators even if they don't want the attention. We will always thank our donators, guys. Remember, these donations, they are not mandatory, but they are definitely welcome and appreciated. I'm not really an a-hole. I just try to make sure there's a balanced panel. Balance is everything. This world is built off of balance, you guys. Everything needs to have a balance. Where there's an up, there's a down. Where there's a left, there's a right. Where there's a man, there's a woman. So, you know, everything needs to be balanced. Life needs to be balanced. Unfortunately, lately I've been feeling like life been life, and my life hasn't been as balanced as I wanted to, but it's starting to balance itself out a little bit as I start finding my own little path and swivel my way through, you know? That's just how the world goes.
Almost ready. Give me 1 second.
Your favorite day is payday? Shoot, my favorite day is payday. I wish every day was payday. I get paid on Wednesdays. At Lapeef Network, you gonna do a show on Dear Future Wifey that did the interview with the Steels?
I'm gonna have to look that up, man.
Never heard of that. We're gonna
Yeah.
have to look it up. Scorched Earth. Why don't you send it to Lapeef's Instagram so he can take a look and put it up on the next thing? Dr. Steel, welcome on in. He said he is the man of steel. Let's go.
What's
Thank you
going on,
guys
Dr.
for
Phil?
bearing with us. Ooh, y'all not pretending to ignore the chat tonight. Awesome. No, I am not ignoring the chat. For some reason, I cannot comment into the chat. Otherwise, I'd be commenting. So I'm just going to be like speaking. But of course, I'm not going to shout out what you're saying if someone else is talking. So if it takes me a minute to respond, I apologize. If you say some crazy stuff to me, I might just ignore it on purpose, but I still love you though. But other than that, we still get them. Where's everyone from? I'm from California. No relation to the name though. Cali, no wings tonight. Listen, my brother did offer me some nachos, but I had to take a step back because my stomach wasn't doing too well the other day. So I ate some porridge that my sister made. But yeah, New Jersey. Okay. I was gonna move to New Jersey at one point, not anymore. Uh, but I'm hoping to have some wings again soon. My favorite wings are the Thai chili. Ooh, sweet chili wings. But y'all know me. I'm always probably gonna be eating something. I love eating. but I work out too. So it balances out, right? Balance. Houston, Texas. He said, I'm from Texas. We're and they slanging on my necklace. Shout out to Bronx, New York. Shout out to New York, Washington. Let's go, Washington. We got Chicago in the house, Chi-Town. Let's go. It's an interview where the wife said that God graced her to stick in a marriage where the husband was.
Dory G from Chicago. Okay.
They didn't wear that.
Chicago, what part?
Crazy. He said, what part of Chi-Town you from? Yeah, I noticed you like to snack. You know, eating a snack is never a bad thing. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing, guys. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
All right. You can hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. 87 in Saginaw. That's what's up, man. I'm from the low end. Dory G. How old are you, Dory G? A young buck?
She said 87th and Saginaw. Let's go. Yeah, Los Angeles is getting kind of crazy. Los Angeles is getting crazy. It's getting really crazy, actually.
Los Angeles been crazy.
Yeah.
Getting crazy.
It's been crazy.
Y'all got what was I about to say? Y'all got cloning machines out there and all that.
We got a whole bunch of stuff out here in LA. You guys, speaking of scorched earth, did you hear that they're no, I'll probably say that for a different time. But yeah, they're just getting a little crazy.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and run this clip then. Again, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel, man. We're gonna get into this fake feminine energy is dangerous to real men. It was an interview on Hardly Initiated that I came across. Well, at least somebody sent it to me. Mm-hmm. So I thought it'd make good for a good conversation. So here's the clip. Here we go. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Great thing, Dory G. Congrats.
In you, and he wants more. But if you're not those things that you mentioned, how? So that's why I say a woman's job is to be these things, not to perform these things. Right now, and what we hear on the internet is performative femininity. That's what we see. I started this whole femininity conversation on a larger scale in 2014-15 when I went viral on World Star Hip Hop. That's where the conversation started. And then they've taken it and then turned it into something that I had not anticipated, because the wisdom, the spirituality is not there to carry this conversation to go deeper. So now it's anytime, now from here on out, when you pay attention, anytime you hear about femininity, pay attention to what they're equating it to. They always include the man in it. You seldomly hear people talk about femininity that excludes a man. When you say, how can she help a man? What did I say? She has to help herself. It has nothing to do with you. Her presence, a woman's presence can heal you. But how can she do that if she hasn't taken the time to figure out why she's the way she is, why she thinks the way she is? Everything we've been taught to be as a woman was given to us by men. Whether it's been government, religion. Well, God gave that to them. Well, God is considered a he. So everything is given to us through the perspective of a man. The idea of modesty comes from men. The woman in the Bible that was getting ready to be stoned for committing adultery. Well, who the heck was she with? Why didn't they go after him too? Who was the married one? We don't know, right? So women, their whole identity was created by men to serve men, not realizing they have their own autonomy, and we gift ourselves to men. But women would rather learn how to gift themselves to a man than to gift themselves to themselves. I always say a woman who is broke does not function in her femininity. Broke women do not function in their femininity because femininity is creative, and you use 85% of your femininity and 15% of your masculinity to execute the ideas you got while you were sitting still and resting in your femininity. Why do you think men go to the strip club to have business meetings? You think it's for some TNA? No, that creative money, sexual, sensual energy is everywhere. They can go there and get wings only and some drinks, have a multi-million-dollar business meeting in the strip club, don't give a girl $1 because that feminine creative energy is there. That's why I say no woman should be broke, because if you tap into those four things before you try to help a man, your femininity can pay you in two ways. It's either you're going to get that download while you are resting, while you are cultivating your life, while you are being what you need to be to you first, and you're going to get an idea. And like I said, you'll be able to execute that. Or the feminine experience that you bring to a man's life, it makes him want to take care of you. So you should not ever have an issue with money if you're doing one of those two things. I prefer the one where he take care of me, child. because I know what he's getting in exchange, you know, and I value my feminine exchange and feminine experience the same way you guys value your money, because I'm the magic, I'm the battery in your back, and that level you want to go to, you ain't going there without me. And the moment I remove my magic from you, you don't know what to do. So imagine that if women understood the value that we had to you, men would act differently, because it's like, wait a minute, my life is not the same with her in it, and it's definitely not the same, you know, with her out of it. But if all you're offering as a woman is your looks and your vagina, and I can cook and clean, and I got a degree, and I have my own car, and I got good credit, and I own my own house, that doesn't do anything to the very thing that they're trying to accomplish. And it's the same thing for men. If you want a woman that you consider high value, you have to come with more than money and protection.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. In this clip, it was mentioned that a woman's femininity cannot fully function if she's broke. What do you think about this statement? Can a woman truly embody her femininity if she's struggling financially? Or do you believe there's more to it than that?
I think that we first have to understand what femininity is to be able to answer that question. And you had thankfully given me the topic a little earlier, so I did a little bit of research, right, as far as what is femininity. And some of the things that I kind of went deep down into is an authentic expression of a woman's strength, her softness, her intuition, and her nurturing nature. And it's rooted not in societal stereotypes, but in her ability to lead with grace, empathy, or empathize deeply, and remain grounded in her identity. Just that expression alone does not say anything about money. And I think that we have gotten into a society where money is like the root of everything for us to be ourselves. I think that in order to know yourself, it doesn't take money for you to understand who you are. It takes sitting down with yourself and really reflecting on how you've been living your life, what you're doing currently to get the life you want, and where you see yourself in 5 years to truly understand the person you want to become or be. And I think that in itself has nothing to do with money. When did we make money the roots of everything about who we are or how men are and things like that? And I think that that's why relationships these days, honestly, this dating world is full of piss. Like, it's just everything's money, everything's, oh, he has to take care of me, or everything's like, oh, she has to look like this. It's like, when did we just stop liking each other just on the strength of, like, you're a good person and I'm a good person? Why are we sitting up here putting money is the identity of feminism when that has nothing to do with feminine? It helps to have money. Yes. Do we need it to pay the bills? Yes. But that's not, money doesn't make you who you are, because money can be taken from you just as fast as it comes. God will humble you faster than anybody on this earth. And the first thing he'll start with doing is taking that money out of the situation for you to really see and reflect on who you are as a person. And I think that to all the women, money does not rule you, because you can always make money later. Who you are today is very important. Who you are within, outside of the looks, outside of the money, who are you internally? Who are you when nobody is looking? Answer that question first. Then we can talk about where you're going to be and if money is going to be something that's in your future, because you can have a shit ton of money and be a complete asshole and nobody want to mess with you. And we see it all the time with celebrities and, you know, things like that. So sorry, I was a little long-winded, but that's my take on it.
All right, same question for you too, Kai. Can a woman truly embody her femininity if she's struggling financially, or do you believe there's more to it than that? Mute. Let me take you off mute. All right, go ahead.
I think that femininity is described, you know, through qualities and, you know, attributes of a woman. So I feel like money isn't always the outlook of the situation. I feel like how you fuel your man as a woman through the things that you do, whether it's, you know, physically, emotionally, um, you know, those are the things that are really important. How do you as a woman affect someone's life through other ways other than money? I feel like that's really important. Money comes and goes, but you as a person and you and your qualities and your traits, that's something that sticks forever. So I feel like money definitely shouldn't describe everything that you are as a woman and your femininity.
All right. Another point, Viz, you there? Viz might not be there. Let me know if you're there, Viz. Another point raised is that women have been taught to serve men. This clip suggests that women haven't been taught to serve themselves first. Do you think this is the root of some modern relationship issues? Should women focus more on themselves before giving to a man?
Yes, because focusing on yourself doesn't mean. Is there an echo somewhere? Focusing on yourself doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I'm gonna go out and have my, like, summer girl era. No, focusing on yourself is understanding yourself, unlearning certain habits. I had to do that at one point to become the woman that I want to be, not just for myself, but for my future partner one day when I meet someone and he decides to be with me. I had to look at my past relationships and be like, where could I have improved? Yeah, this was done to me. Yeah, I got cheated on, whatever. But what else could I have done, or what could I do better in myself to have more genuine people around me, or just to be the best version of myself that I can be? And there's nothing wrong with taking time for yourself, and I can't tell you how long it's going to take, but it is important for men and women to really get the time to understand themselves and work on themselves before they get into a relationship. Because the last thing you want to do, yeah, we all come with baggage, but the last thing we want to do is sit there and bring that baggage to someone else and put all their trauma onto someone else who probably already has trauma themselves, and then expect them to deal with not only their trauma, but your trauma at the same time. We can't do that. When I come to you, I'm going to come to you whole. I'm going to come to you peacefully. And I would expect you to do the same. And if you don't, I'm going to leave and go my own way. But it is very important to just get to know yourself, love yourself, and embrace in the person that you are, and focus on the person you want to become before you sit there and just hop into a relationship with someone. That's when all the problems start.
Okay. All right, Cass, on you. The clip suggests that women haven't been taught to serve themselves first. Do you think this is the root of some modern relationship issues? Should women focus more on themselves before giving to a man?
Yes, I think a woman should focus on herself before giving to a man, because I feel like you should be comfortable enough in your skin to understand the things that come with you, to be able to accept someone else's baggage. I know that everybody goes through a lot of things, and oftentimes we don't have people to talk to about the problems that we go through. So we bottle things in. And I feel it's good to focus on everything that comes with you, your insecurities, the things that you thrive for, the things that you strive for, whether it's positive or negative. You should focus on those things within yourself, so that when somebody else that you bring into your life has those things, which everybody comes with some form of baggage, you'll be able to adapt. And not only that, you'll be able to help as a woman in your feminine energy to, basically help control the narrative of your man, to become better within itself, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So definitely, definitely.
Hey, Cal, I know you more on the younger side, the younger generation, and I heard you speak from how you personally feel, but what do you see around you? Do you think that women are focusing more on themselves before they give to a man? Or do you think that they are focusing on themselves and not giving to a man at all?
I don't think that women focus enough on themselves. I think it's simply them like seeking the things that a man has for you to be qualified to even be someone in her eyes that she can look at to say, you're my man. For sure. That's mostly what I see, in today's society. a lot of women don't take the time to get to know themselves a little more so that they can become that woman for that man that they strive for.
What about you, Miss Callie?
I don't think, to be honest, I think when you like, I think that the narrative should be become the person that you would look up to in 5 years and go on your path. And the person that is for you will be also on that same path, and you guys will cross paths, and you won't have to worry about a lot of things because you both are headed in the same direction. I think that that used to be my problem, is I used to be like, I'm going to be like, I just want a husband and I want to just cater to him and everything. Even though I want those things, at the same time, when you're so focused on being a woman for somebody else, you lose sight of who you are as a person. And so you never want to live life trying to be someone for somebody else. Be who you are, love who you are, and find someone that's going to accept you for you. And when you do, you need to be able to accept that person for whom they are. As long as they accept you, they're loyal, they're genuine, you need to do the same thing for them. And I think that is the problem. Either we are trying to be desperate and have someone for us because we just want to be taken and we just want to be loved, which we always want to be loved. But a lot of that stems from not loving ourselves. And so we look to others to help that they fill that void or pour into us. But we need to pour into ourselves, because how are we going to pour into our man if we don't even know how to pour it into ourselves? If we're so focused on him and the future husband that we're going to have, when are we going to take the time to focus on ourselves? Which is why as soon as they get in the relationship, what happens? Everything's great until it's not. And then they get unhappy and then we break up because why I'm unhappy. Why are you unhappy? Because you didn't take the time to love yourself before you started loving on somebody else. You expected that person's love to fill you up with so much joy. And then it's unfair to the partner, because now you're putting unrealistic expectations on that partner to love you in ways that in every given moment. And now that person has to work 10 times harder to make you happy because they're afraid you're going to leave when you could have did that for yourself. So we need to be able to get to a point where we love ourselves first, but also be able to pour into our partner without emptying our glass too much. And then at the same time, being able to be okay with sometimes it's not always going to be happy. It's not everything's going to be such a great moment. And that's why it's important to get to know yourself, because at those times where it's not a great moment, you'll still be able to rock with your partner and figure things out and have a different mental clarity than just leaving that person because, oh, things are bad for that spur of the moment and you're not happy. So I do think that it's important for us to pour into ourselves and love ourselves. And when it comes to our partner, love our partner, but don't forget to love yourself, and don't rely on your partner to love you more than you love yourself.
I do want to ask you guys this, and Hank, I'm gonna play that video for you. Did you see the video? Oh, you saw it?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna play it for you momentarily. What do you guys think about this word partner, Callie and Kai? Because there are some people that often say that we are not equal. And so when you use the terminology partner, it gives off this sense that we're equal.
Partner doesn't mean equal. Partner means I come with a handful of experience and things that I can contribute to this relationship as well as you, right? When you look at a business or you look at anything, I hate role playing. So let me change the narrative. When you look at a partner, right? A partner is not always someone that is the same as you. They have certain things that they can bring to what we call the table, right? Certain characteristics, certain experiences, certain wisdom that they can bring as well as the other person. It doesn't mean that we are on the same equal wavelength. It just means that I come to you as not a dependent. I don't want to come to you for me, right? Everyone has their own terminology. But for me, when I think of that word, I think of, I'm not coming to you as a dependent. I'm coming to you as a partner. I'm coming to help you in any ways you need, and or being there for you when it's time, stepping up when it's time for me to do that. Does that mean that I'm going to sit up there and take control of the whole situation? No. I'm just coming to you as someone that's here to help you in any endeavor that you need help on. And I don't expect you to, and without expecting anything in return, just off the strength of, I love you.
And if you're dating a man and he doesn't want you to use that word partner, would you be okay with that?
Yeah, 100%. That's like me telling a man, I don't want you to call me a certain thing. You know, if I'm with you, I love you. So if there's something that I'm saying or a verbiage that you don't like, I don't mind switching the narrative and using a different word. But at the end of the day, it's still the same thing. But just using a different word because you don't like that word. Just as much as if you say something I don't like, I would hope that if I express that to you, you would reciprocate that same energy.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Kai? How you feeling about that word partner?
I feel like partnership is like business in a sense. Whether you like it or not, a relationship is a business, you know. I gotta give my half, you gotta give your half to make it a whole. So I feel like it just depends on how you go about using partnership within your relationship. Um, I feel like everybody bases things off of a social media standpoint for how a relationship is supposed to be within a partnership with you guys. But I feel like that's a discussion that's supposed to be between you two to discuss what's best for y'all relationship to, make things right for you guys. But I say a partnership is definitely business in a sense, but also it can be used in a way to, you know, have togetherness within each other. So
I think some of the concern is that the word has been hijacked by same-sex preferences. They often use the word partner all the time when they refer to the other person. So I think that's where a lot of people minds go. Not everyone, because I still do see somebody say my partner. But what I have been seeing in space is that it becomes one of those trigger words because a lot of folks associate it with being equal on the same level.
Well, I feel like a lot of people, especially in this day and age, like to take terminology and make it their own, right? Which is why we have so many new words that we're all still trying to learn, and verbiages and slangs and terminologies. But at the end of the day, it's really just how you articulate that, right? I may say tomato and you may say tomato or whatever the case may be. Really, at the end of the day, if I were to be married, I would probably just say spouse, but I still consider you, to me, because of the way I view partnership, I view it completely different. I don't look at it like most people do. So to me, it's equivalent. And I don't look to be equal to a man. I am a woman. I do not want to be any part of a man and don't have a desire to. So, I'm great being who I am. But yeah, for me, it's just, I think that there's a lot of words that we used to use that is now being turned into something else, like Riz. I had to find out a year ago what Riz was, and I guess it's from charisma. It's just stuff like that. So I think that we always switch up words, but it's just how you articulate it. It's what your definition of that word is that matters.
All right, copy that. We do have a super sticker from Shaka Carter, $3 super sticker. I want to thank you for that, Miss Shaka Carter. I'm gonna go ahead and run this clip back for Hink, and then I got a question for you, Hink, and we're gonna unpack this whole fake femininity. Here we go.
He sees that in you and he wants more. But if you're not those things that you mentioned, how? So that's why I say a woman's job is to be these things, not to perform these things. Right now, and what we hear on the internet is performative femininity. That's what we see. I started this whole femininity conversation on a larger scale in 2014-15 when I went viral on World Star Hip Hop. That's where the conversation started. And then they've taken it and then turned it into something that I had not anticipated, because the wisdom, the spirituality is not there to carry this conversation to go deeper. So now it's anytime, and now from here on out, when you pay attention, anytime you hear about femininity, pay attention to what they're equating it to. They always include the man in it. You seldomly hear people talk about femininity that excludes a man. When you say, how can she help a man? What did I say? She has to help herself. It has nothing to do with you. Her presence, a woman's presence can heal you. But how can she do that if she hasn't taken the time to figure out why she's the way she is, why she thinks the way she is? Everything we've been taught to be as a woman was given to us by men, whether it's been government, religion. Well, God gave that to them. Well, God is considered a he. So everything is given to us through the perspective of a man. The idea of modesty comes from men. The woman in the Bible that was getting ready to be stoned for committing adultery. Well, who the heck was she with? Why didn't they go after him too? Who was the married one? We don't know, right? So women, their whole identity was created by men to serve men, not realizing they have their own autonomy, and we gift ourselves to men. But women would rather learn how to gift themselves to a man than to gift themselves to themselves. I always say a woman who is broke does not function in her femininity. Broke women do not function in their femininity because femininity is creative, and you use 85% of your femininity and 15% of your masculinity to execute the ideas you got while you were sitting still and resting in your femininity. Why do you think men go to the strip club to have business meetings? You think it's for some TNA? No, that creative money, sexual, sensual energy is everywhere. They can go there and get wings only and some drinks, have a multi-million-dollar business meeting in the strip club. Don't give a girl $1 because that feminine creative energy is there. That's why I say no woman should be broke, because if you tap into those 4 things before you try to help a man, your femininity can pay you in 2 ways. It's either you're going to get that download while you are resting, while you are cultivating your life, while you are being what you need to be to you first, and you're going to get an idea, and like I said, you'll be able to execute that. Or the feminine experience that you bring to a man's life, it makes him want to take care of you. So you should not ever have an issue with money if you're doing one of those 2 things. I prefer the one where he take care of me, child. because I know what he's getting in exchange, and I value my feminine exchange and feminine experience the same way you guys value your money, because I'm the magic, I'm the battery in your back. And that level you want to go to, you ain't going there without me. And the moment I remove my magic from you, you don't know what to do. So imagine that if women understood the value that we had to you, men would act differently, because it's like, wait a minute, my life is not the same with her in it, and it's definitely not the same, with her out of it. But if all you're offering as a woman is your looks and your vagina, and I can cook and clean, and I got a degree, and I have my own car, and I got good credit, and I own my own house, that doesn't do anything to the very thing that they're trying to accomplish. And it's the same thing for men. If you want a woman that you consider high value, you have to come with more than money and protection.
All right. What's going on, Nate? How you doing? Welcome to the panel. Hink, you just saw. How you doing? You just saw the clip. There's also a claim that if a woman understood their value and power they hold, men would act differently. Do you agree with this? Can women's self-awareness change how men behave in relationships?
I mean, yeah, it could, but most of them are not going to do that, because they look at femininity as like it's something, like it's weak, like it's a weakness instead of a power. A lot of them don't realize how much power that they would have, or they can have, if they rested in their femininity more than they rested in their masculinity. But instead of that, they operate just the opposite. They rather rest in their masculinity, and they look down upon femininity like it's a STD or something. You know what I'm saying? They scatter like roaches when the lights come on. They don't want to have nothing to do with that. That's even when it's beneficial to them, 90% of the time. But they rather go to that masculine side of it on a regular basis, until when you see some of these hyenas about to get arrested, all of a sudden they get real feminine then. All of a sudden they get real soft then. All of a sudden they get real dainty then.
I can't really
Too late now.
I can't believe it,
You came with
Jesus.
that masculinity is the reason why you about to get them silver bracelets put on your ass. But now that them bracelets on you, now you're like, oh well, I didn't mean it like that, officer. No, man. If you came like that from the jump, you would have given all the benefits that you need to reap. Instead, you choose the masculinity and to be aggressive and overbearing and intolerable. And so now man don't want to deal with you. He don't even want to see you. He rather be without than deal with you.
Okay. Ms. Nay, I got a question for you. What do you think about this statement? Can a woman truly embody her femininity if she's struggling financially? Or do you believe there's more to it than that?
I believe it's more to it than that. I feel like a lot of people just operate from hurt places. I think if she's not healed in who she is as a person, especially as far as like childhood and things of that sort, and maybe that could even result to why she's dealing with certain financial hardships. But I think you have to know who you are as a person before anything.
Okay. This clip also suggests women haven't been taught to serve themselves first. Do you think that this is the root of some modern relationship issues? Should women focus more on themselves before giving to a man?
Oh yes, absolutely. I think that's why a lot of relationships end. Period. I think a lot of women get so wrapped up in trying to be who that man wants her to be that as soon as like things go left, she just feels as though, okay, well now I'm gonna flip all this shit over because I did this for you. I. When really you weren't paying attention to you.
All right, then I ask you the same question that I just asked Brother Hink here. Do you agree with this? Can women's self-awareness change how men behave in relationships?
Yeah, I can agree. I definitely can agree. I feel like women need to. I'm not going to say they need to, but again, going back to my point, I think you have to know who you are. Like you have to be self-aware before anything, and that's any type of relationship, whether it's a relationship with your sister, your man, your mom, your dad. Like you have to know who you are, and you have to be firm in who you are before you try and go to anybody else's table.
I'll give my take on it. I know she mentioned something about if she's broke, that women that are broke, they can't tap into that femininity. I disagree. I don't think money has anything to do with if a woman is going to be feminine or not. I had a little bit of this discussion earlier. I think that a lot of women are not taught how to be feminine. They don't know what it looks like. And it has to do a lot with their upbringing. Sometimes trauma plays a role as well as on if they're going to truly be themselves. A lot of people are just showing up as representatives because they can't be who they are because they've been conditioned to have their guards up or to be somebody because they're in protection mode. So I think it's very difficult for people to really relax and be themselves and to focus on what's going on in real time because they're concerned about what's happened in past time. We're going to go ahead and unpack this again. If you haven't hit that like button, also make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button.
I have something to say to that, Lapeef.
Mhm.
I think it's more of a survival tactic. I think it's more of I got hurt really bad, and now I feel like I have to be masculine because I didn't really have anyone to protect me. And now I don't know how to disassociate myself with surviving something that I'm no longer existing in to learning how to be feminine again, because I do see that too, especially when you go into trauma. You can go through something, it could change the way you think significantly, but if we aren't striving to overcome that, we're going to be like literally indulged in that every day, and we start to develop bad habits or certain mentalities and ways of thinking and doing things that are toxic in nature because we didn't understand how to not only unpack that, but how to deal with it internally. So what happens is when you go through something traumatic, or we talk about trauma, it changes who you are. And it you have two options. It can either change you for the better, or it can change you for the worst. And I also think that a lot of it has to also do with some of the influencers and the people that we look up to and what they say too. Because not all of it has to do with, there are certain circumstances where people feel like I need to be masculine because I just feel like I need to protect myself. And then there are also people that look up to certain women that preach masculinity and flaunts it as if it's a flex. And then they start losing themselves in the process because they see the attention and all of the stuff these people are getting. And then you throw in the money in there. And so I think there's plenty of factors as to why some women choose masculinity or femininity. But to Hink's point, you are absolutely correct. If we did like push what femininity really looks like and how it could be beneficial to you, if we showed how beautiful that was and the outcome of that, I think people would probably have a different take or look on it. But we don't. We show it as if it's weak, or as it's something not to be proud of. And you should be proud of being a woman. There's nothing more beautiful than women. I'm a girl's girl. I love women. Not like like that, but like I meant like you know what I mean, like Nye, like that's my girl, you know what I mean. So I just feel like
Yes, I love this challenge.
I think it's just more of, I think it's more of like, hey, like there is nothing wrong with who you are, understanding who you are and understanding how to embrace being a feminine. We don't need, there are certain times where we might have to step up the plate and we always have to be strong, but why can't being feminine be strong as well? Why does it have to be deemed as masculine? Why can't women be strong and be you know just as whatever the case may be, but be feminine at the same time? Perseus, knock it off.
Well,
Sorry,
the
my daughter's
reason why,
telling me off.
because you, like you just sit there and said earlier, like you said, like being masculine is a flex. What is a flex about saying that a woman is masculine? What is a flex? What is the benefit in that? Where do you see the benefits in a woman being masculine? Where do you see the benefit of a woman saying that's a flex for a woman to be masculine? Nothing about this said is a flex. You should never want to be masculine like a man. Why do you want to be like a man? Do you realize how hard it is to be a man, but you want to be masculine like one? Why would you want to take on that trait? I don't understand that at all.
I think a lot of women also were taught that trait before they were taught to be feminine. Like, for example, if you're raised in a single mother household, you're seeing your mom do everything, so you're seeing her pick up all of those hats. So in your mind, it's like, okay, when I get my own household, I have to do X, Y, and Z. Even though, say, you might have a man, it might be hard for you to let go of that because that's what you grew up seeing. So
And that's what we call trauma, capital T. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that it's a lot of things that, everybody goes through, is the traumatic experiences without realizing it. And they take those experiences and utilize it in their day-to-day lives. And it's like, it's hard for them to see it because they've been living life through a different perspective, you know what I'm saying, than most people.
And I think that we as
I'm trying to
women need to
understand
encourage them.
how is being an adult, doing things as a responsible adult who's by themselves doing, how is that masculine? I would just call that you being an adult, doing what adults do, take care of themselves, provide for themselves, looking after themselves. How is that being masculine just because you're doing that? Is it because now that you have a child and you chose to be a baby mama instead of a wife that makes you masculine because you have to take care of a child? No, you're still an adult. You
I
still
don't
been an
think
adult who's
anyone.
taking care of a child. That's not being masculine because you're being responsible. It's not being masculine because you're paying your bills. It's not being masculine because you're taking care of your residence or wherever you live or doing what you're doing. That's not being masculine. That's you being an adult.
I think when and this is just a perception, right? This is what I perceive, what I speculate. This isn't the ground root. So ladies, don't come for me. But I do think that a lot of times when they say masculine, I think it has to do with the strength part of it. Like, I'm a strong woman. And like I said earlier, you can be strong and that can be feminine too. Like strong does not just go to a man because he's strong. I'm man strong. I'm masculine now. Like, no, like I'm feminine. I'm a strong feminine. I'm a strong woman. There is so much joy and beauty in that. And I think we just need to embrace that. I think we need to embrace being a woman. There's so much beauty in being a woman. And we all have our different things that we go through in life, men versus women type things. But for the most part, like I said, there's nothing more beautiful than a woman. Nothing more beautiful. We look at nature in itself, flowers and waterfalls, like they represent women body parts. Like women are the most beautiful creatures on this earth. And there's nothing wrong with being beautiful. And when you look at beauty is soft. It's just eye grabbing. When you step out into that world and you start seeing the beauty in the world, yes, and fruit, Nikki, you start seeing the beauty in the world. It's never anything that's hard hitting and everything like that. Even a diamond. Yes, a diamond is formed under pressure. It's very, very strong, but it's so beautiful. So beautiful. People unalive for diamonds. And that's, how we could be. Hard on the inside still, but beautiful on the out.
Yeah, something that's answer Hink's question, like why is that masculine, right? There's a term in psychology that they use called casualty or casual reasoning. And this concept is central to understanding how events and actions lead to specific outcomes. So if you have someone that has gone through a traumatic experience, then there's a shift in their mind and where they now have to compensate for whatever their loss may be. So if they was dealing with a man, now they have to be that man, not physically, but mentally. And so once they start filling in the gaps and start to do the things that the man was doing or a man should do or typically does, then it gives them this illusion as though they're independent, they're the man of the house, they don't need a man. And then if they do it for such a long time, it becomes a pattern in their minds where they now have become accustomed to living life like this. And so it's kind of hard to kind of shut that off, because if you do something for so long, change doesn't happen overnight. So if you do this for so long, it's going to be difficult to bring somebody in to be able to offset that, because people don't like change.
So one of the things that I'm so thankful for my mother. I have a really great mother. And one of the things that she taught me was how to be independent, but also not be basked in that, right? And what I mean by that is, like to Hink's point, I don't need to depend on anyone. I can do everything myself. I'm very resourceful, but I'm not going to sit up here and say F men because I can take care of myself. Like, come on, bro. Like, let's just stop the cap. We are grown now. You can be feminine and still be independent at the same time. And you can pick and choose who you want in your space just as much as men pick and choose who they want in their space. Why? Because whom you choose to involve in your space is going to be the end all be all or the make or break it. Meaning, if you put the wrong person in your space, they can tear down everything you've built. I lived through that. Or they can be someone that uplifts you and inspires you and embraces you and can take you to heights you've never experienced before. But you will never know if you never take the time to get to know that person, because you're so stuck in your own head. I think a lot of times, not even just women, men do it too. We get so stuck in what we know or what we think we know that we aren't able to see what really is, right? Because we're so in tune to what we are. And it's very important to understand that, yes, are there bad people in this world? Yes. Are there good people in this world? Yes. But if you're so closed hearted and closed in, you will not be able to know, and you might ruin a really good thing because of your own insecurity or accusation of who someone is.
All right, let me go ahead and ask this question to the panel. What does real femininity mean to you, and how does it differ from what we see online or in media?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, I repeat the question and we'll start with that. What does real femininity mean to you, and how does it differ from what we see online or in media?
To me, when I think of femininity, I think of, I'm not going to say our purpose, but what women are mostly known to do, to nurture, to care. I think personally being feminine means you just being caring, like not just caring, but being you for one, and just giving your all, being able to support when support is asked, or, just being a woman. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of people are like misguided based off of like social media and what things are portrayed to be. Like, a lot of today's influences consist of sexy reds, Sukihanas, things of that sort. Women telling you just get the money, when really, like, I feel like we should be, for one, solidifying our careers, doing what you want to do, following your goals, but building your family. I don't know. I think a lot of people are just misguided, confused, and just confused as a whole. And I think I'm not going to say it's social media's fault, but I think a lot of people don't have good role models in their corner. Like, they don't have people to say, like, hey, like, you shouldn't be out here doing this. You shouldn't be portraying yourself in this fashion, in this manner. You shouldn't be carrying yourself this way. Yeah, I think a lot of women nowadays, like, their morals are just confused. They don't know what they want, and they don't know what they want from a man. They don't know what they want for themselves, their families, things of that sort. Yeah, they're just lost.
Um, yeah, just to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying, I think a lot of folks are just lost when it comes to the understanding of relationships and the different dynamics and understanding what it is that they bring, whether it be femininity, insight, whatever it may be. Because when you ask somebody that question, like, what does femininity mean to you? I'm pretty sure a lot of women would struggle to answer that. The same way how you ask a man, like, what does it mean to provide and protect? You'll get so many different answers, but there's a lot of men that's really not clear on that specific role. So I think a lot of people have to really get a true understanding on what it means to actually fulfill these roles and these things that they speak about. Because people always have these expectations for what it is that they want to receive, but they don't have the understanding as far as what it means to give. And so that's why I think that that's why it comes off as being one-sided when we hop into these relationships, because people just don't really understand how these different variables are supposed to intertwine together.
And that's the thing. Everybody's going to have a different answer, because everybody's going to be focused on different things in their lives. Some women want to be stay-at-home wives. Some women want to work and actually have a career. So it just depends on you and what you want from this life, really.
But there's always a foundation. I feel like there's always that foundation, and that foundation is there's a yin and there's a yang, right? There's a light and there's a dark, and it really just comes out to balance. So if men are Perseus, honey, it's okay. He already went potty and ate, you guys, so he's been fed and taken care of. He just wants my attention. But when you think of masculine, you think of strong, headstrong, and in your face and all that, right? And the woman is femininity is like the balance of that. It's the light, it's the grace, it's the, like Nice said, it's the nurturing, it's the welcoming, it's a factor of things, right? We can go on and on, but it's that being able to embrace in your softness and use that against someone that's, because men tend to be more hard ass, like they're more like in your face, this is what it is, like, and women are more like, okay, no, da, 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 da. Now, I'm not saying you have to be soft spoken, but I'm just saying there are ways to handle situations, especially with men, without having to either raise your voice or come off a certain way, right? You can have certain conversations and have a man listen. For me, what works is when a man tends to, be anxious, be the opposite. You know what I mean? And vice versa. So if he's getting up there and tones are rising, you lower your tone, because guess what? It's going to make them want to come in and hear what you're saying, you know, and you can make valid points. You can still let something be known without having to go out of character to do it. And I think that's again stems from who are you? What is your character? What is your morality like? And then you'll be able to really know the definition of these questions that we're asking today.
All right. Cal, answer that same question. When you look at women who are, there was this right here, my bad. What does real femininity mean to you, and how does it differ from what we see online or in the media?
I think that real femininity is, you know, standing beside your significant other, you know, being their backbone when they're down, building them up, you know, motivating them. When they got a vision, you see through the vision, even though you don't see things changing immediately, you still see through to it, because if something was to change and happen, it'll change and happen for the both of you guys. I feel like a woman in her femininity is just being an advocate for him and you know, gearing him in the right direction. I know sometimes as a man we can kind of get in a sunken place, and we need to be, you know, redirected sometimes. But I feel like the difference between that from today's society is, like she was saying, Nair, how you say your name? Nair?
Nayar, y'all could call me Nay though.
Like Nah was saying, like music, you know, the women that are representing the world that we're in right now. It's a lot of turning points on that. People look at social media and get affected by that the most. So if a famous pop star artist is saying something, they're more than likely to go with it, but not realizing that that is just for marketing and, you know, to sell, to get you to listen to their songs and download the song. But people don't really look at it from that perspective. I feel like we oftentimes get confused from social media and real life. And yeah.
All right, it's like popcorn style, so I ain't gonna be going to everybody. So if I skip you, don't take it personally, right? The next question I have is femininity something that can be faked, or is it something that naturally comes with the right mindset, experiences, and self-awareness? What's your take on it?
I think anyone can manipulate anything. People can manipulate any word you throw at them if they're good enough, right? So, I mean, yeah, to your point, yeah, it can be. You know, if you want to, anything can be faked. People can manipulate whatever you want, whatever they feel they have access to, or the capability of manipulating. That's just, not everybody does that, but there's a good chunk of people that do. Let's just all be honest and call a spade a spade.
I feel like it can be fake for sure. You can go ahead now.
Oh no, I just wanted to add to what Callie was saying. I think most women do, actually.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by that? You say most women do what?
Most women are able to fake femininity.
Well, why do you think they fake femininity?
I think in the beginning of a relationship, a lot of women, like, they're not going to tell you, like, in my last relationship, I did X, Y, and Z, or if I get mad, I'm going to go off the hinges and do this. Like, a lot of women want men to perceive them in a certain way. So, of course, they're going to act soft. They're going to play their part. And then when that man pisses them off, they're just going to fly out the hinges, and that man will learn.
Go ahead,
I feel
Kat.
like it can. I feel like it can be both sides. You know, men and women can also fake these things. I specifically call it the cupcake phase. You know, the phase where y'all want each other, so you're willing to do whatever it takes to get each other. And then as time goes on, you see the true colors of the person that you're dealing with, and decide whether or not you want to stick around for it. So,
I mean, I somewhat agree with what you're saying, but I don't think that's always the case. I think there are some people that understand who they are, and they're going to be consistent in the beginning and throughout it. I have experience where people have quote unquote faked it, right? Or either they may have been attracted to what femininity, the results that femininity yields, but by default, because change doesn't happen overnight, or they're not put into situations to test. Because some people can say they change, but that's just them telling themselves that they haven't really been put into situations or environments or conflict where they're able to really test it to see if they really have mastered that change or not. And so once they get put into those conflict situations, then that's when you really see it. They fold. And sometimes they may regret it. I've had people come back and apologize for lashing out or for not being themselves, having an understanding, those reflecting moments, because they really haven't changed. I don't think anybody changes necessarily, especially when you've been living your life and had a mindset for so long. I think that you are able to regulate it. You're able to control it. But I honestly believe that you still possess it. It's still in you. Go ahead.
Understood.
No, what I was going to say, unfortunately, some women try to fake the femininity, but fortunately for a lot of women, they can't hold it long because they always going to go back to that default mode. If it's in you, it's in you. If it's not, it's not. I know some women try to turn it on and off like light switch, but we always know that shit don't work. Because you're always gonna go back to your default mode. You're gonna go with what's normal for you, what's traditional for you, for what you normally do. You know what I'm saying? You can't put that on day in and day out and fake it for the rest of your life, because eventually there are gonna be certain things you do, certain things you say, certain way you respond. It's going to show your true colors. Now, once a man sees that, it's all about that man. How's he going to deal with it? Is he going to continue to pursue this woman? Or is he going to leave that heifer at the restaurant like he should? Because when you see situations like that, you shouldn't deal with it if that's not what you're into, if that's not what you're looking for, if that's not what you're willing to accept.
All right. I had a question for the gentleman, and that's the three of us, right? When you look at women who appear to be faking it or performing femininity, what stands out the most? Is it obvious to you when someone is just playing a role?
I think it happens through situations. How you would expect a woman to react in a manner of a woman compared to how they really react. So if you're, expressing yourself in a conflict, and you see that she feels the need to cut you off, talk down on you, and raise her voice, it shows that she doesn't have too much respect for men or a man, in a sense. And it's like no man wants to step on toes of a woman in conversation. It wants to leave it either be balanced, I would say, or enough to where as though you can feel where I'm coming from as a man. But I feel like it's through conflict, mostly, in my opinion, where you'll find out the truth about that.
Okay. Same question to you, Brother Hink. When you look at women who appear to be faking it or performing femininity, what stands out the most? Is it obvious to you when someone is just playing a role?
Yeah, it's normally obvious, because when you ask certain questions, I put them in certain situations. You can tell by some of the answers how they respond, how they carry themselves, how they deal with certain issues that you present to them, and so that's going to let you know, well, this is all for show, or you just did it just long enough to get me, or to pull me in, or something like that, or just to get my attention. And at the moment, and then once you have my attention, your true colors will show. So yeah, most times you can really see right through it, because they, like I said, they most of them can't hold water, man. And so when they try, you can see them just biting their lip, just to try to hold on long enough to get the dude to say I do. But then some dudes fall for it. They fall for it until the end, and then they just suffer. But most men see right through it. men that are aware, and then men who know what to be looking for anyway. What's your thought on it, JL?
I'm sitting there thinking because I see two different versions of it, right? I think there's a space. I think the women that you see in the space and the women that you see around, I think when you see it unfold differently with them. Like my thought is that women who you see in these predominantly male spaces, they're here for a reason. They're here for a reason, and the reason may be different, but they typically respond. They respond different from people that's not watching podcasts. And when the fakeness comes out, it's obvious. It's obvious when the fakeness comes out. You're typically having a regular conversation with them, and you will see them in a different light. But once you have like a conversation and they get triggered or something you say that doesn't sit right with them, then that's when you see the real version of them come out. People that's outside of podcasts and not on the space, you see it, but you see it in a different way as far as them. I don't think they're playing a role. I think they are who they are. And when you meet them, I think that over time, you just start to see it to unfold and unpack. But I don't think that they putting on a show. I think the people that actually watch podcasts and trying to figure out what this femininity is all about, you typically see those women that try to mimic what's the conversations that men are having and that's being had online. You see them trying to mimic it, but they haven't been able to have enough time to master it, to even fake it. Once you trigger it, it's like you begin to crash out at that point. And so it's really hard to uphold an image of you that was never you.
Do you know why that is? That is
me?
because,
Okay.
yeah. Do you know why that is?
I mean, if you're going to give me some insight, go ahead.
I was just going to say, a lot of the times it's because a lot of the, what it takes to be feminine, there's a lot of characteristics that make up that. And you can't just watch something and then all of a sudden be like, I'm going to do it. You got to make the choice to become that and live through that for the rest of your life. And the issue with that is, to Kai's point, who are you when it comes to conflict? And you first have to have great conflict resolution skills. 2, be able to understand that not every time, not just because you have the last word doesn't mean you won the argument. 3, it's not about right. God damn, Perseus. And then also because a lot of times it just comes with like morals, standards, what people would call like home training, right? Like respect and there's a lot of things, like it's just your characteristics. I do believe people can change though. I do believe if you want something bad enough, you can be anything that you want to be, and you can accomplish anything you want to accomplish. And if you do have things to work on within yourself, I don't feel that you're a lost cause. I feel that if you want to go ahead and accomplish something, whether it's I want to be better at how I deal with this, or I want to be able to talk to a man and get him to understand, maybe even just ask the men in your family or the people that you do respect around you, how do you feel I can work on this, or what could I do better? Because a lot of times we watch podcasts and these podcasts don't even say anything. They're like saying toxic shit and putting shit in people's ear. All it takes is to watch the wrong one, and then you're just adding more shit to the shit that you already have.
I got a question for the women. What's going on, Viz? I'll get to you in a second, sir. Thank you. There's a concept of performative femininity where women try to fit into a certain mode or role. Have you ever felt the pressure to perform femininity, especially in relationships? How does that affect your sense of self-worth? Start with you, Vaughn. I'll repeat it again just to give you a little bit more time to digest that. I know it's a lot. There's this concept of performative femininity where the woman try to fit into a certain mode or role. Have you ever felt the pressure to perform femininity, especially in relationships? How does that affect your sense of self-worth?
I think women feel the pressure of being in their femininity every day, especially if they're not coming from relationships that they've had experience in. I personally, I feel like, if you're stepping up to say something or giving advice or giving anything that a man feels that should be more something they should say, if you're giving that example or experience or giving like telling them something that they should do, then some men take that as masculine, and they'll tell you that. So then now you're questioning yourself or you second guessing yourself. Should I have said that? You asking other people, are you tripping? Like, was this masculine or was it feminine? My suggestions, was they not a good thing in this situation? Like, so now that's where you're questioning yourself. Like, okay, maybe I should have just been passive here, and I should have just been more receptive instead of just giving my opinion. Like, should I shut up? Should I say it? Should I not say it? So that's where we're questioning ourselves, because if the response is not given and taken from us, then now we're questioning ourselves. So I think that happens in most relationships.
I have a question. Um, I don't. I never understood the idea of a woman not being in their femininity, or a person having to bring this out of them. Um, to me, and this is probably just my logical and reasoning mind. If you're a feminine woman, you're a feminine woman. Same as masculine. If you're a masculine man, you're a masculine man. It doesn't take for a woman to pull out a man's masculinity. It's either in you or it's not. Um, a wise man once said that I am what I am, and what I'm not, I will never be. So it's either you are or you aren't. So I don't understand that concept that a man will take a woman out of their femininity.
I agree with that. I really feel like when they were talking about earlier it being fake, I feel like in the beginning of relationships, a lot of people are putting up facades. I really do think that it's going to come out eventually. No one's there. Who you are is going to eventually come out, and it's going to show either you're going to be feminine or you're not in any situation. Like, it just depends on what happens, what's said wrong or taken wrong. That person is it's gonna show. So I don't agree. I agree with that. It's you either are or you're not.
I'd have to disagree. And only the reason why I do is because I feel like there are certain circumstances where, like, for instance, if certain environments or certain people can bring out the worst in you. I've seen it firsthand. Certain situations, environments, or people that you're around. And I have this theory too, that like you are who you hang around. But the
Mm,
second you stop hanging around with certain people, the second you change your environment and you start being around people that can show you different things, it starts to alter you, and have you have a different side of you come out. And I can only say to my experience, because I wasn't always, I got skeletons in my freaking closet too. And it took a while for me to get to the mindset that I am now, but I didn't get there until I completely cut off certain people and started hanging around the group that was healthier for me. And when I started understanding what healthy looks like, when I started understanding what peace looks like, and when I started understanding how to obtain that and sustain that, that is when I started really understanding what being a woman is all about, and how to embrace in that, and how to not allow my environment or anybody in my life to bring me back to a person that feels like they always got to survive. And because I used to be a little firecracker. I used to fight all the time. It was not good. And it came from the environments that I've been, the things that I've been through. But when I started hanging out with people that taught me certain things, I was like, all right, like I get it now. I get how to handle this. I get how to do this. And I started getting certain characteristics, unleashing certain characteristics that I didn't even know existed within myself. So I do feel that, whom you are around in certain instances and circumstances can bring the worst out of you just as much as certain people can bring the best out of you.
I agree with that to an extent. I think that even in that situation, right? If you're if you're around people that's toxic and you're not toxic, you're going to be uncomfortable around those people that are toxic. When I was running the streets, I hung out with an open crowd for somewhat, right? But one thing that I absolutely despised was thieves. If you was a stick up boy or something like, I'm not kicking it with you. I'm not being associated with you, anything of that nature, just because I don't feel comfortable around that, because that's not what I do. So again, if you're around people that are fighters, you're a fighter. I mean, it's not necessarily nothing wrong with that. You're just a fighter, right? You can be a good fighter or a bad fighter. But again, to say that, and I agree with it to the extent of, if you hang around five fools, you'll be the sixth one. But if you don't see yourself as being a fool, you're not going to be around those five fools. So that's that part I'm still kind of torn on, in which again I understand, but logically my mind going to that doesn't make sense.
I want to build off of Viz when he said either it's in you or it's not. I feel like, a lot of people, I feel like it starts at home, how you were raised, your circumstances and things like that. So I feel like certain people won't really know who they are until they can get to themselves and get to know themselves more, to know if that is in them or not. I feel like a lot of people got to spend a lot of time really getting to know yourselves to be able to depict whether or not it's in you or it's not. You won't really know what's in you or what's not in you until you actually spend time to yourself to get to know who you are as a person. So
I don't know. I agree with both sides to a certain extent. I feel like when you know better, you do better. So if you're ignorant to certain things, you're gonna fall for anything. Like you see somebody doing something, you might just say, "Okay, that looks fun," not really knowing what's going on. I think when you grow up with role models who are telling you right from wrong and you know what to do, I do agree that you do know in the back of your mind, like, okay, I'm not supposed to be doing this. But everybody isn't raised that way. So I think over time, like you'll learn eventually, but everything is really a lesson for you. So I don't know. I could see both points of view.
Some of the most hardcore niggas that I know, excuse my French, they knew what they were doing was wrong. I can't pass off the accountability of saying that when you know better, you do better, because a lot of people know exactly what is right and what's wrong, what to do and what not to do, but they choose to do it, which is the key point. They make the decision to do it. I was at a Dave and Buster's, and a young lady was there, bartender, and we was chopping it up. And she told me that her baby daddy shot her in the stomach.
What?
Yeah. Now, mind you, she grew up in a 2-parent home. Her father worked every single day, took care, provided. She was in the suburbs put up. But the fact that she was put up in the suburbs, she saw this city life and she saw this fast life, and that intrigued her. And even though she knew that her going out to the city and playing in them streets was the wrong thing to do, she continued to do it. She got pregnant by the boy. And then eventually, when she tried to walk away, he shot her in the hip. So we pass off this accountability of knowing directly of what is right and wrong because we all make decisions. That's one of the beauties of life, right? Is that we're able to make those decisions. You find out what's right and wrong early at the age of 9 and 10. If you got a little boy that's 9 years old and he cussing, he know it's wrong, but the mama ain't stopping it. Grandma ain't stopping it. They probably laughing at it. They think it's amusing. He gets in trouble at school. What they do? They just pass it off. Oh, that's just Daquan. That's just Daquan being Daquan. No, that little nigga know what he doing, but everybody is empowering him and allowing for him to do it so that he thinks that it's okay. There's no consequences from it. And that's a nasty cycle that we see often. And I think that when we get away from sharing that narrative, then we could potentially save the youth.
All right, I got a question for Hink. Does femininity still hold the same value for you if it's not genuinely expressed? Or is the idea of a perfectly feminine woman overrated? How important is authenticity in a woman's role in your life?
So it's a long ass question, y'all. Let me break it down then.
Okay, well, let me just say the first part then. Does femininity still hold the same value for you, or it's not generally expressed?
For sure. And the reason why, because it's not a lot of women out there that practice it, that does it, that carries himself like that. So hell yeah, it holds a lot of weight for most men.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you think that that perfectly feminine woman is overrated?
No. When it's limited, it can never be. Let me say this: it's always appreciated when it's there, when it's seen, when it's expressed, when it's shown, when it's practiced. Because it's not common no more. Not in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these young men have no idea what femininity looks like. They never seen it. They never experienced it. Why? Because they're used to dealing with these hard ass women. You can tell by the way they react to them, how they call them and talk to them. They talk to them in slang. You can't talk to them to like a respectable person. Hey, excuse me, ma'am. No, hey, yo, show, come here. And they respond to that because that's all they see, that's all they know. So most of these young dudes, they gonna come and do like that. They one of the boys on the yard, or one of the boys that just just on the street. And ladies, if you respond to that shit, yeah, you resting in your masculinity. There's nowhere near feminine because you will tell that young man, "Hey, don't come to me like that. I'm a lady," and that's not how you speak to a lady. That's not what they seeing enough. So it's not being presented enough. And so when it is, they don't know how to respond or react to it. There a lot of young men are intimidated by it because it's so rare.
You ain't lying. It's to the point where like you think it's like this can't be real, like this can't be true. You know what I'm saying? Because you're so used to seeing what you're seeing. So when it's right in your face, you don't even know how to register it. you thinking it's a facade, like it's not real, like you trying to play with me or something. Like something
Too good
like
to
it's
be
like
true.
too good to be true, like Jack in the Box, like something else gonna happen. I know it. And you'll like block your blessings in a sense with stuff like that, pushing somebody good away from you.
Okay. Hink or Kai, one of y'all can answer this last part of it. How important is authenticity in a woman's role in your life?
You said how important is authenticity?
Yes, sir. In a woman's role in your life.
It's very important because as far as for me, an example, um, I need for my woman my lady to be real and upfront for her because I'm entrusting so much into her, and I may expect that in return. Financially, I'm gonna be pouring into her. Emotionally, I'm gonna be pouring into her. I can admit I love hard, right? I can admit that. It doesn't make me less of a man because I say I love hard. It's just me. Um, and sometimes my love may not come in ways that's I guess what most ladies will sit at the ordinary. It may come in acts of service. So I'm making sure you're well taken care of. You say, baby, my gas tank low, and all of a sudden you get out in the car the next morning, think you gotta go get some gas. The thing's already filled up. Why? Because I done already did that for you. I done already make sure you good. So now you ain't gotta make a stop. You can just go on straight to work and do what you need to do. I'll go on that today and do what you need to do. Little things like that. You know what I'm saying? So no, look, when it's real, and the women are real and authentic, man, a man can rock with that. Because now he feel like he's getting her, who she really is, when she's being honest and genuine and upfront, not putting on this facade. Men don't like that. Men don't like to play them guessing games. Men don't like to play the mind games. We feel like we don't have time for that. Let's get to the point. Let's get to what we need to get to so we can go where we need to go.
All right. Question for the ladies. Let's go ahead and get y'all in this. Y'all ready? All right, here we go. There's a concept of performative femininity where women try to fit into a certain mode or role. Have you ever felt, no, I asked this already. No, this is when women are expected to embody femininity to get the man or to keep the man, does that create a sense of insecurity or self-doubt? How do you balance societal expectations with your own identity? I'll repeat this again. When women are expected to embody femininity to get the man or to keep the man, does that create a sense of insecurity or self-doubt? How do you balance societal expectations with your own identity?
By just being yourself and trying to do what's best for like understanding what it is that is going to be beneficial to the relationship. I mean, treating your man like he's a person instead of just thinking of yourself only. I think that a woman is capable of being feminine at any given time in their life. And I feel like you shouldn't be. Society does not depict how your relationship is going to be. Society is not going to tell me how my relationship or my household is going to be ran. That is going to be up to myself and my husband or boyfriend or whoever I'm with. And I think that once we stop allowing societal pressures take into our relationship and understanding whom it is we're dating, what it is that they're looking for, what qualities that they love within me, those are the things that I'm going to show the most of. And taking myself out of it, I think that's just it. Just stop allowing society to tell you how to run your household because 90% of society doesn't even know how to run their own household.
I agree. I think you'll only be insecure if you already have those insecurities lying low. Going back to like what we were saying about people like playing that part, I think if you're playing that part and if you're like going off of what Callie said, if you're already looking towards society and let's just say social media for those things, you're already going to be messed up. Like, you have to know who you are, you have to do the work, and you have to heal from whatever you've been through in life. I think a lot of people like to ignore that factor. Some people like to just think, I'm fine, I haven't been through anything. But everybody has something that they need to work on.
All right. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Lauren.
it's the same thing for me. I think half the world does look to social media or the next person relationship to see how they're doing in theirs and comparing. So it is really about knowing yourself and your mate and how you guys want to run your relationship, because that's what gets you in trouble. Comparison, social media, looking at what everyone else is doing, and there are some men that allow their women to run their relationship, but your man might not. So you can't compare it to anything. So you definitely have to know yourself and know each other. So shouldn't doubt yourself.
All right. What's going on? It's Dory G. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming up.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. Want to check with you and see what it is that you want to add to it. I don't know what you want to speak on, but feel free to speak on whatever you want based on the conversation thus far.
Yeah, well, for now, continue. So I could just, because I kind of.
Okay. I ain't gonna put you on the spot. All right, I'm gonna go back to the mirror real quick. Does femininity still hold the same value for you if it's not generally expressed, or is the idea of perfectly feminine woman overrated? Go ahead, Viz.
I think it's one of the most beautiful things on this planet. It was interesting. I remember a time where I would, be speaking to a young lady, and I'll say, yes, ma'am. They'll ask me something. Yes, ma'am. Don't call me ma'am. What you mean? Don't call you ma'am? That's what you are. Even, and this kind of was a consistent post COVID or during COVID, where women even started to, try to dap me. I don't dap women. That's weird to me.
Come on.
I'm I'm old school. I want to gently grab your hand, and if I know you or really respect you and love you, I'm a, kiss your knuckle. I'm gonna kiss my knuckle on top of it. That's femininity. That's a feminine woman to me. But for it to be a thing to where, women are saying, don't call me ma'am, or they don't gently give you their hand to shake it. I think that takes away from the essence of being feminine. So I think that is undoubtedly one of the most beautiful things on this planet. But I think we should get back to it.
Hank, I want to apologize to you because you did that earlier, and I'm like, I'm not a ma'am, I'm a miss. But the reason why I said that was because growing up, so my dad's side of the family, they're from the Philippines. Or no, sorry, my mom's side from Philippines. My dad's side of the family is from Memphis. So they're from the South. So they say ma'am a lot, right? So I started saying that like out here to like my own family because that's what I thought was like, the thing. And then all the women in my family, like, don't call me ma'am. I think they do it because it makes them sound old. And then I got in the habit of doing that. So now I'm like, call me miss, not ma'am. So I apologize, Hank, because I totally was like, don't call me ma'am.
No, it's just being respectable. It's
That's
just
it.
showing respect.
I accept your apology. I accept your apology.
I hate to say it, but I get mistaken for a man because of my hair. It's just, there's this stigma around, having, if you don't have long hair, it's kind of like, oh, it's easy to mistake you. Even though I have like the feminine features, body, it's like as soon as they hear my voice, they'll be like, oops, ma'am. And it's like, they're just not used to seeing the short hair. So it's like I don't get the pleasure of being called a ma'am often.
Well, I will call you ma'am, and I think you're beautiful, and I think that more people should rock whatever type of hair they want to rock. And I think that feminine women doesn't have to be looking a certain way. It's how you act. You can look like the most beautiful person in the earth, but if inside of you and how you act doesn't put that out, then you are not feminine, ma'am. But you came on here, you're respectable, you're learning, like saying things. There's nothing wrong. And I think that's the problem, is that we think that you have to look a certain way to be feminine, and that's not the truth. Feminine is who you are on the inside, not on the out.
I wonder about the inside.
Yeah, but what you are on the inside will show on the outside. So if you carry and present yourself in a feminine way, then that's that'll be undeniable. Same as with a masculinity, right? You can see a man and immediately know that, oh man, that buddy got a little sugar in his tank. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it's nothing against it, if that's what he's into. But of course, it just looks differently for different men. Same way with femininity.
I was gonna say too, another thing that I noticed that like people will define is like feminine is the voices, right? So there are some men that don't have deep voices, so then they'll come off to be, oh, you're feminine, or you might be into the opposite sex just because of that. And I think really we can't just judge, based on that, because sometimes like we do have a shift with our hormones. Like a lot of times men don't just have a high level of testosterone and then women have a high level of estrogen. Like it's, we all have different levels. And when it comes to like our bodies and voices, like it's all going to be different. So, it's kind of like the stigma around that too is kind of a bit disturbing.
Yeah, I think that's instinctive though, right? Uh, with hearing a man with a deep voice, right? He probably has the deepest voice on the panel, which is why in most cases when he speaks,
What?
people, or primarily women, they feel intimidated by it, because he has a deep masculine voice. So yeah, I agree with you, to where if a man comes on the panel and he has a soft, a much softer voice, then yeah, people may not respect him as much. People may not be as attracted to him just off of the strength of that. There are just simply things that that comes, I guess, by default in masculinity and even in femininity, where it may stand out more. It may be more attractive. It may be more of a turnoff. It just all varies. I think the beautiful part about it, though, is that the fact that there's different levels of it, it all looks differently. So now that adds the diversity to it all for a person to be able to say, man, I appreciate this more than than something else, or this is what I'm into more than the other thing.
I do have a question for the panel. This is not to a man or woman, but the entire panel. We know that society, culture, and even religion have shaped our views on femininity. How much of it, what we see today as femininity, is influenced by outside forces versus what's truly authentic to the individual?
I think a lot. I feel like, especially for me and my generation, I think a lot of people will result femininity to like oh, are your nails done, or your lashes done, is your hair done, things of that sort. When it's like that has nothing to do with it, you know. I think it depends on that. I think it depends on where you're from, what your interests are, just like where you're getting your knowledge from.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. I feel like femininity is based upon like physical appearance, like how well you take care of yourself as a woman. But I feel like it starts with your mom and your dad, how your mom is to your father if you do have a two-parent household. So yeah.
All right.
I'm so sorry, Lapeef. I was eating some wings and I totally disregarded everything you just said because it was hella good. Can you just repeat that thing one more time?
All right. We know that society, culture, and even religion have shaped our views on femininity. How much of what we see today as femininity is influenced by outside forces versus what's truly authentic to the individual?
I'd say about 90% of what makes up a person is what they're influenced by. People people mistake things that they see, and I feel like when you're someone that's easily influenced, you tend to do things that are out of your nature, or you tend to make it your nature because you think that that's what society's doing, so I got to do that too. But we don't have to be that way. You can choose not to. You don't have to internalize everything that you see, hear, or experience.
I feel like people are the biggest influencers. Every day you can go to work, you can go to the store, you can go anywhere. Your friends can call you on the phone and you can tell them any scenario in your life and they're going to tell you, girl, you should do this or you should be like this. And I wouldn't do this. And then they'll go home and do something completely different. So to me, people are the biggest influencers for me, or everyone else is trying to tell you how to do something that they would not do.
This is why you don't tell people your business when you're in relationships.
Absolutely.
You sit around, you try to get experience. You listen. That was more probably some of the biggest mistakes that I've made was telling people, not everybody, but like people in my family, things that I go through with the person I was with, and it makes the person look bad. And then when you continue to be with that person, it makes you look bad too because you're like, well, he's doing this, so this and that. When it's just like, listen, this is our first time living, you guys. This isn't our second time living. Everything we're experiencing every day that goes by, that's our first time experiencing it. Some may be repetitive because they're not learning from previous mistakes, but for the most part, when you experience something, it's your first time. So how you react to something is going to be completely different. And I feel like when you're in a relationship, when you have an issue or you have conflict, you take it up with your partner and try to resolve it within. And if you do need some type of influence, it has to be someone that's going to really help you and not judge you, because we all make mistakes and we're not perfect and we say and do things that others might find questionable. But for the most part, we're humans and that's going to happen. So when you go around telling everybody your business, your friends, your family, then now everybody has an insight of how you guys should be. And it puts more pressure on the relationship. It adds more conflict and people start acting weird around you. It's just a lot of those things can be avoided when you just keep what you got going on with your you guys hate that word, with your person, and continue to fix it amongst yourselves.
I think this conversation kind of circles back to the one that we had previously with Coel. I think that is important, especially if you're in a serious and committed relationship, that you have some type of mentor, some type of person that's as invested into you as you as you are in your relationship, to really help guide you, through those tough times where you may need the proper information to get through whatever it is that you're going through. I think the biggest problem is that on a lot of these panels that people tune into, of course not this one, but people will tune into toxic panels where that's all the focus is. It's not about finding a resolution, about coming together, about working through the difficult times, the very things that you experience in life, right? Just as an individual, you go through complicated times and moments by yourself. So to think that you're not going to go through that with a person, and then to think that the easiest thing to do is to walk away. If you do that with yourself, you'll more than likely never find success. So I think that it's important to be around like-minded people, or have someone that you look up to that understands what goes on in a relationship, and that's willing to help guide you to make the best decisions for you and your wife or your husband.
Yeah, and I know, like me, I said it, I think it was a couple weeks ago, or a couple Wednesdays ago, or Sunday, I don't remember, but talking about hanging around with married people. I have no desire to hang around a bunch of single dudes, or have my wife hang around a bunch of singles. What's the benefit that my wife's going to get hanging around a bunch of single women? Nothing. Learn how to be single, how to move and operate single. Now, we don't need to know that. We've been down that road before, and we don't want to go back. Me as a man, I don't want to hang around a bunch of single dudes and interact with them all like that on a regular basis. I'm not going to get any benefit out of it, to the point where they're going to try to influence me to move and operate like a single man, even though I'm not. But that's how they do. Why? Because they don't totally respect or disrespect the sanctity of marriage. Now, there's some men that do. I'm not going to say all of them don't. There's some men that do. But for those that don't, yeah, you really don't need to be around. Not even my family members. We family, I understand we blood, but I'm going to love you from a distance, because I know how you move and operate, and you don't respect marriage, and you want to do everything and all things like a single person, but that's not how they be moving. Now, a strong-minded man like me can handle that, but I may have another cousin who's weak-minded, who falls for that bullshit and wants to go out there and do the same thing his single cousin to do, and now I got to talk him off the list. Dog, it ain't what you want to do. Why would you want to put your marriage, your relationship in jeopardy by going out and doing what they trying to do? Hanging at the strip club all night, hanging at the bars all night, trying to drag your ass in 2 or 3 in the morning. It's not a good move. Because let me tell you what's going to end up happening. You're going to be in the other room or on that goddamn couch. And you're going to have a whole argument, and you done blew about $100 wasted on these strip clubs. You bought another $50 to $60 on food and bullshit. And what did you get out of it? Nothing but a headache, because she's gonna be on your ass. Yeah, I would definitely not encourage it. So any man who I know is single, who's looking to be married, I say, brother, you might need to have a conversation with some of these married brothers, see how they move and operate, how they think, and maybe they could possibly help you get the results you want. You hang around your single boys, you're gonna remain single. I know y'all women think women only want to keep women single. Oh, there's men to keep other men single. Please believe me, because they get just like some of these single women. They get jealous, they get envious, and they want us they act like they get possessive at times. And that's crazy to even think another man could be a possessive woman, but they out there. They like that. It happens. Because I had to get behind the curtain scene, dog. I mean, you're just gonna keep it all the way honest here, right?
I agree.
Man, I feel like you as a person, you doing the things that you do despite your friends and everything. Like, I feel like what makes you different is you knowing you. I keep going back to you knowing who you are. Because despite if you got friends that's single and out and about in the clubs and the bars every day, what am I doing? What's my focal point? What is it that I'm trying to get out of life? What am I trying to focus on? I feel like that's what differentiates, between you and having friends that are in the mix in the places that you're not really supposed to be in.
I do have another question. Is the idea of femininity tied to a woman's looks, body, and traditional roles, like cooking or cleaning? Or can a woman be feminine without embodying these stereotypes? How y'all feel about that?
I feel like that's a plus.
She can be feminine without them those things. To me, those are just roles that she has, that a feminine woman has. I mean, it's just, you know, part of what I consider gender roles. I mean, that's how we roll in my house. So those are just her roles as far as the house. But, you know, the first thing I'm gonna see, I'm not gonna know how she cleans, how she cooks, or not. I'm gonna see how feminine she is, how she carries herself, how she talks. Is she a woman who talks like a sailor, cussing every other word? You know what I'm saying? To me, a woman that smokes is not feminine. I think that's gross, but that's just my opinion. I don't think that's feminine to me. So I'm gonna watch and pay attention to little things like that to see how she operates first before I even know if she can cook, clean, or do anything else. I need to know that she move and operate like a feminine woman.
I'm about to say, what in particular, smoking what in particular? Just in general or just?
Yeah, smoking period. I mean, I don't do neither one, so that's not sexy to me.
Out here smoking.
Well, let me take it back. I do smoke a cigar.
So if she's smoking one with you, how you gonna feel about that though? If she's smoking one with
she ain't smoking nothing with me. No, we're not doing that. I don't know what you used to, brother. We don't do that shit.
Yeah, no, I'll feel you on that, Hank. Yeah, I don't think that is necessarily a look. Is just simply how does this woman carry herself? Is it soft, you know, or is she just super aggressive? You know, is she calling me bro? I don't like that. I'm not your bro. Don't call me bro. I don't feel like that's feminine.
Question, Viz. What if like you're like a friend, you know, like a friend, you're like, oh hey bro, what's going on? I ain't gonna hold you. I like cause I'll be on the game and like, you know, I'll be on the game with my bros and we be gaming and I'll be like, bro, he's on the left. You know, like what am I
in Cali? That's why you okay with calling your man a partner, because y'all think y'all equal. You gonna call me bro?
But
we
let me clarify.
No, hell no.
Okay, hold on, King. Let me clarify. I do not think I'm equal with men. I do not believe that. I have a different terminology. No. No, it's just that like, okay, so I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm gonna listen, but at the same time, it's just that like, you know how I said like you are who you hang around kind of stuff. So like if you're like gaming with a bunch of guys and they have this certain lingo, like you kind of adapt a little bit of their lingo. Now I'm not gonna call the person that I'm dating my bro. I'm gonna call him babe or hun or love. Like that. That's usually how I call him. But I'm on the game with my homies. Like we're like, bro, like listen, you know, because I don't know. I'm probably weird, but
no, you're not.
That's not how it's gonna happen, Callie.
No, you're not weird, girl.
You're calling every other man bro. You gonna slip up and call your boyfriend bro too.
I've never done that.
I get what he's saying though. Like in the heat of the moment, a heated conflict, we always go to conflict. Bro, you're not about to be da. And it's like, damn, bro, like what the fuck?
No, I don't. Yeah, no, I mean to your point, yeah. I mean, like, you know, maybe I might need to work on that. But if there's a dude on the left with the pew pew, we gotta take him out. You know, just like I don't know. I just feel like there's just a way to talk to your person, your lover, your spouse, your boyfriend. I don't know what to call it because I'm not married, so I can't say spouse, and I don't have a boyfriend, so I can't say boyfriend. But like, if I am in a relationship, like, I definitely hold a lot of respect for my man. And I'm going to make sure he knows that because respect is the most important thing in a relationship. And a lot of issues come with just having lack of respect for each other. Just because an issue happens or you're mad about something doesn't necessarily mean you need to revert to insults or revert to allow your frustration to get you out of your character. But then that stems within too. Because if you can't even handle a relationship like that, just imagine if it was other people, which is why we have so many people crashing out all the time. You know what I mean? Because people just don't understand how to deal with conflict in general. So they, and then on top of that, they don't know how to express themselves in a manner to get someone to listen. So they think they either have to raise their voice or indulge in childlike behaviors because they just don't know how to deal with that because they weren't either taught or didn't take the time to learn how to just handle certain circumstances or situations, which is why you get those people that revert back.
Yep. Let me
Hey,
go ahead.
I got a question.
Hold on, Viz. Hold that question. I'm gonna come right. Let me get Nike. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah, like the shoe. You got it.
Okay, Nike. Okay. Oh, I see what you did there. I got a question for you. You mind if I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Earlier, it was suggested that a woman's presence can heal a man, and that a woman have the power to affect men's lives in profound ways. Do you agree with this? Can a woman's energy truly influence a man's life in this way?
Absolutely. It's the same as when you say, you give a woman a seed, she multiplies it, gives you a child. So yeah, I don't want to say we make everything better, but we multiply it.
Okay, short, sweet, and simple. Anybody else want to add on to that?
I would, but I wanted to ask a question from your prior question about the physical appearance aspect, because I heard, everybody mentioning character, which, yes, we would look at that. So to the men, like in terms of how a woman dresses, so if she's not wearing well-fitted clothing and she's just comfortable, that wouldn't detract from her being feminine in your eyes, would it?
It depends.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know the woman, then you're more likely to kind of give her a pass. But if a woman presenting herself wearing sweats and things that may be considered what men will wear, then it probably wouldn't come off as feminine. A conversation would need to be had at that point to kind of discover who she is. But just off of physical appearance, I would just say she a tomboy.
Yeah. What do y'all think of tomboys?
If we in bed together.
So would you prefer that a woman be made up all the time that she goes out, or?
No, I don't think that she has to be made up. Again, I've seen women that had sweats, but it had a girly style to it. I think it's a difference between looking like a hooper or coming out looking like Tiana Taylor. It's like two different looks. But usually that aura, there's an aura about it as well. So even outside of the clothes, her stance, how she's walking, like if you can't picture her in heels, it's probably not no femininity and visually. I'm not saying that she doesn't possess it, but just off initial, just looking at them, like if I can't picture you in a dress, or every time I see you, this is the way you look, I'm gonna be hard pressed to say, you're just like one of the homies.
Yeah, I can respect that.
That's what go ahead, man. Nike, is that what you gonna say? Something?
Oh no, I was just saying to JR. I was like, I can respect that. I get that.
Yeah, if she's dressing like one of the brothers on the block, man, every time I see it, she look like one of the brothers on the block. Yeah, I'm gonna forget what you are. You might as well do like Callie do and call her bro. What do you mean? Damn.
The shade, Mr. Hink. My heart.
Nah, you're not lying though. That's like going to sleep and both of y'all wearing a tank top and shorts. I'm gonna start asking questions. Like,
but don't some men find that sexy when like women go to sleep in like their clothes, like their basketball shorts, their tank tops, their stuff? No, like, am I tripping?
I'm gonna be honest.
Spray your neck a little bit. Spray that neck.
I'm gonna be honest. I find it sexy when she go to bed with no panties on.
Or like when she wears his long
Well, you gotta let the girl breathe,
Because I love wearing like when I go to bed, I like wearing oversized t-shirts.
Yeah,
like, I love
definitely taking all the t-shirts.
I don't like nothing touching my skin.
Right. You go to bed, you got some oversized t-shirt,
Go
like a little dress.
Nothing.
Yeah, that too. I just always get scared someone's gonna crawl on me at night when I wear nothing, unless
I
like
thought
he's
I was
there.
the only
You
one
said
who
just go
thought
bareback.
Like
that.
I
You said
just,
go bareback.
I've watched too many scary
I ain't
movies.
gonna be too exposed now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You
We
said
gotta have
naked and
some type of
afraid.
like.
But if I'm laid up with him, oh, I'm always gonna be in my birthday suit. But like by myself, I'd be scared.
Well, I know, like my wife, she usually takes my T-shirt. She usually takes my T-shirt and she wears my T-shirts. I mean, I'm like, hey man, where all my shirts at? But she using them
I won't have
pajamas.
no
I'm like, God
shirts.
damn.
And listen, we love doing that as women. We love taking your stuff and wearing it. Like,
Oh
yes, this
yeah,
woman's stuff. Yes,
your
we love
hoodie is
it.
mine. Your hoodie's mine. Your shirt is mine, and your basketball shorts are mine. And if you wear joggers, they are mine as well.
I agree.
Yeah, I was gonna say
God,
like
hey.
too with the parents, because a lot of times like you would see women wearing more baggy, comfy clothes. Like if they're going on an errand or at home, you know, if they're going on a date, they would dress up. So I take it that's okay. You know, so like it depends on the setting then, right? Because like if she's just going to run an errand, like y'all not gonna say,
Yeah,
oh, she
no.
I mean,
I think it's just when you laid
I
up.
think she can look sexy when if she's wearing sweats. It just depends on the type of sweats that she's wearing. I mean, you still have some sweats where it's the whole. I think it's still the aura, man. I don't think you can change that. Yeah. So if she's a feminine woman, I think it's gonna show no matter what she got on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's her
I know
charisma.
You can't even hide it.
I know there's some hoopers when I was in high school, right? There was a lot of chicks that, you know, was hoopers. And you know, some of them was I don't know if it's a derogatory term, but you know, butch or whatever. And then there was some that was tomboy. Okay, that's probably, I'm pretty sure that's better. My bad. All right. But
hey, look, that's between Butch and Tomboy. Don't do that. Don't
all
put
these
I don't
names.
even know.
okay, yeah, I don't know, man. I try to be politically correct. I know
I
know it's crazy out here, but you know, like y'all said, I think that it's, even if you are wearing something baggy and you're not dressed up, right? It's still, you can still present a feminine aura in what it is that you're wearing, regardless. There's just not something that you can turn off. If it's in you, it's in you. But I think if
Look at Vez trying to be careful.
But listen, I think it just has to do with style. Like some ladies, some ladies just don't know how to style
just
this.
don't say it.
I think we need to understand something right here.
Yeah, no, me personally, I love to see a woman dressed down, you know, because then I can really see what it is that you are, you know, how beautiful you are, you know, in your
What Drake say?
right
Sweatpants chilling, girl. That's when you're the prettiest. I hope that she
Right.
don't take me wrong.
Period. Exactly.
Yeah, but you know,
Period.
but it's still, but if you coming outside with pajama pants and a bonnet on, then you know, like, no, you just went the whole opposite way. That's not feminine whatsoever. But
They call it ratchet. They call it ratchet. You know what I'm
So
saying?
to be clear, men aren't cool with women wearing bonnets outside, right?
Absolutely not.
No.
I mean, if you got bundles in your head and you got a head full of hair, cool. But don't be wearing no,
bro, ain't no
don't
cool.
be wearing that with nothing underneath of there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what you doing? You feel me? Like, what we doing?
Take that bonnet off when you go outside. I mean, there's no need for you to be wearing no bonnet outside. I mean,
My
what are we
mom,
doing here?
funny story. Like
rock the rollers if that's the case.
Anytime I would step out of the house as a kid, like, because as a kid, like in my high school and middle school, like we'd wear like we wear like pajama pants outside. So anytime I'd wear something, mom's like, go back and change. She was like, a lady needs to always look your best. When you step out of the house, you need to look your best. You go and you look a certain way. Now there are occasions, right, where you got to do a quick errand, you don't have time, whatever the case may be. But I said, man, if I were to walk out of the house with a bonnet on, I don't care if we're going to Safeway, my mom would kick my ass. She would say, get in the freaking house and change.
To this day,
Yeah,
I
you
am
shouldn't be walking
petrified to go
outside with some
outside of the
pajama
house with a
pants
bonnet
on.
on.
I was a kid.
Yeah,
That
you
was what
walking
we
out.
kids
Petrified.
did.
And pajama
Yeah.
pants.
Hey, you walking
Petrified.
Yeah.
outside with pajama pants on. I'm assuming your shit stink. You ain't washed shit. Yeah, this nasty work.
Yeah, no, I definitely took care of myself, first of all. But like it was a cool thing. Like back in high school and middle school, it was like the cool thing to wear pajama pants. So I had specific pajama pants to wear for school. Doesn't mean I didn't shower.
Yeah, that's
But it's just
nasty.
that like
That's
they had
nasty.
specific like things to wear. Or like if I wore sweats, if I wore sweats, like I'd have to go and change right away.
Hey, so I do have a question for the guys on the panel. I think I know what Hink's answer would be, but do y'all call women cis?
Nah. I think that
Man,
you calling
the
a woman
cap
cis.
of this panel.
Wait. Why not? Is it like
Basketball is
feminine
your
or something?
favorite
What's
sport.
going
That's
on?
what I'm saying. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, it sounds feminine to me. I mean, I don't think
I've
women.
heard men doing that.
I don't even call my
I've
sis
definitely
sis.
heard men call women sis.
I don't even call my sister sis. I
I had
call her
people in
by
this
name,
chat
like
call
her
me sis.
nickname. Like, nah, that's a little
Like,
But they usually mean it when they're talking about somebody, like, oh, sis just did this. Like, why would sis do that? I don't like, it's not in like a sis. I don't know.
So okay, so if you don't say sis, what do you say?
I call her by a nickname. Yeah, or her name.
a
Her
woman,
name.
a woman,
Yeah.
a female chick.
I'm not calling a woman sis.
Yeah, I don't know no man around me that uses the word sis. The only time I ever heard sis, they was on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
That's just being honest about it.
Oh, the other side. Okay.
Yeah. Got another question. Earlier, it was suggested that a woman's presence can heal a man, and that a woman have the. I read that one. I read. Let's see.
Wait,
Let's talk
before
about
you ask
that.
the last question, I'm sorry. It's actually getting late over here, so I'm gonna get ready for bed. I just want to say thank y'all for having me on. It was nice talking to you all. Hope to be on again soon. And thanks again.
Bye, Nye. Love you.
Love you too, Sticker Bud.
Man, nice to meet you.
Just so y'all know, we are.
Look at this sisterhood love right here. Can we just embrace that for a second? We gotta just know. Okay, all right, fine. Go on, Adria. I'm sorry.
Shout out to Charlie for bringing me up. Thank y'all. Have a good night.
Okay.
Good night.
You too.
You said you want to embrace the sisterhood. Is that what you want to do, Nike?
Yeah,
I told you I'm a girl's girl. I love my women.
Love. I feel like, yeah,
we go.
we don't see enough of that on this panel.
Yeah, so I had to choose myself.
I'm screaming.
Because care of yourself is self-care. You gotta stand on business.
All right, shout out to
Sounds good.
Okay. And now I got to go my moment out the way. We almost towards the end, y'all. We'll be a closing in a second, but let's talk about the idea that a woman have their own autonomy and shouldn't have to gift themselves to men. Is this true?
What do you mean?
It's in a clip when it says that women have their own autonomy and shouldn't have to gift themselves to men. Is this true? How do we balance personal autonomy with being in a relationship where giving and receiving are mutual?
Maybe I'm dumb as fuck, but what do you mean autonomy? Like our biology? Like what makes us as a woman?
It's the
or
right.
like
The right. Basically having the right.
Well, I mean, duh. You guys have the right not to give it to us. Everybody has a choice if they want to give it up or no. Like, hold on, let me pause. Not everybody, like there are circumstances and situations that happen that are, a different discussion. But for the most part, we do have a choice if we want to give up our goods or not. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm sorry, I was looking at this comment, kind of threw me off a little bit.
Okay.
I think I know what the one you're talking about.
Which one are you talking? Wait, hold on, pause. Ray Hannah, you're so messed up for that. No, I'm not. I don't do that. I'm a
Oh, you talking
lady.
about the swallow shit? Yeah, they too.
I'm like, what?
Oh,
Have you ever
have you ever been swallowed? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Anyways,
Yeah,
anyways, I think that yeah, like I feel like we do have the right to pick and choose, who we wanna, give our goods up to. But for the most part, it's like I don't understand why that would be a question.
Hey, wait, is that a dude that asked that?
Yeah.
Oh, my chest.
That's a super pause.
Yeah,
I just think that if you're gonna be in a
Jay,
relationship with someone, just give,
Where we going?
like be yourself.
So,
Sorry,
Jay, what was the question again, man? That shit
Yeah,
threw me off.
I got thrown off. Yeah, I got thrown off.
I get thrown as much as you. I'm looking like, what the hell is going on here?
Buddy snapped. he followed it up too.
Oh man.
Oh man.
I lost my. I'm trying to figure out.
Hey, the good thing is, man, if both genders like you, man, your mama did good. That's what I heard. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Anyhow,
God damn.
Hey, yo, pause, man.
What about the idea that women have their own autonomy and shouldn't have to gift themselves to men? Is this true? How do we balance personal autonomy with being in a relationship where giving and receiving are mutual?
That's the whole point of a relationship. Don't be in a relationship if you're not looking to give or give and be welcoming to receive.
Yeah.
That's how you balance each other out. What I lack, you gain. What I gain, you lack. Like it's the balance. It's the yin and the yang, And I feel that when you don't just give yourself to anybody, but the person you choose to give yourself to, or the person you choose to be in a relationship with, you need to be completely open with that person and be willing to receive and give.
All right. One interesting point was made about women being broke and how it affects their femininity. Do you agree that financial independence and success are tied to a woman's ability to embrace her femininity fully?
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, you could not have the money and still remain in your feminine. I mean, because when you do that, guess what? More than likely, a man is going to be willing to help you, assist you, take care of you, bail you out any situation you in. So no, I don't think so.
What were you saying, Dory?
I was saying definitely not. I mean, if we're tying like how much money somebody makes and then to like their femininity, I mean, I'm thinking the first thing that came to mind was I'm thinking about what these women on OnlyFans are making. Some of them are making the big money, but then they're supposed to be feminine. They're feminine energy because of their big money, but then you have women that are genuine that make less money, but then they're not. Like I kind of, it's kind of hard to try to put that together. Like the guy said earlier, like it goes based on character. So
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that money and femininity and like even play a part in the same category. I think it's kind of different for real. I think the femininity comes before the money. I feel like the
I can buy
femininity is
more
characteristic.
feminine products. That's about it.
For sure.
now, women like there can be women that are very materialistic and get so caught up in all this money that they have that they feel full of themselves, and then they get to the mindset of I don't need a man and I'm independent. So that kind of can lead to that behavior. That could be shown through that too. So
called a power trip.
I was just
Get
about to
some
use that in my
money.
mind.
Of
Hell yeah.
course. It's called the power trip.
You
And I
see
think it
your
happens with
head.
men and women. You get money, you get a certain amount of power, you're able to do things, which is why we have a lot of people that get into money, get into the money, some of the worst situations that you would have never thought they would do because they have the power to do it. Most people, if they have the ability to do something, they're going to do it without even thinking first. And that's how they get their ass in trouble. But to your point, yeah, 100% money does not make you. Because at the end of the day, that money can be Uncle Sam can take all that shit. And then who are you then after that? Just a regular schmegular person like the rest of us. Got to get it out the mud all over again. So no.
What about the idea of women needing a man to take care of her in exchange for femininity? Do you see this as problematic, or is this a natural dynamic that works in certain relationships?
Well, a woman should be able to take care of herself.
It's problematic, yeah. Anything that you want out of a man, you should be able to get. You should be able to provide for yourself first, because ultimately, like, we are human beings. If you single and you living on your own, you gotta pay your bills. Realistically, you ain't gonna call out for a man to do it for you. Like, it's you. It's up to you. Responsibility.
Yeah, but there's certain things that a man provides more than just the money. So, like, for example, discipline and structure. Some women operate in chaos, control chaos, and then they operate in that shit good. But when that man comes in, then all of a sudden that chaos that she's working in, all of a sudden it looks different now. Now it's not as chaotic because that man provides you with some type of structure or some type of a level of discipline that she's not used to or that hasn't seen maybe since she was a teenager when she used to live with her parents or was up under her parents' household. So that's what a man also can bring.
That's another level of stability that women crave as well in that aspect too. So that was a good point, Hank, for sure.
I recently heard a really good analogy in a conversation that I was having with someone, and they was saying how women can be compared to an ocean, and femininity can look like this ocean, and masculinity will essentially be the cliff in which this ocean clashes into. There'll be moments where the ocean will be violent, and clashing into it, and sometimes that same ocean will be calm. But in all of that, the cliff is still the same. It's still static. It's still stopping that ocean from continuing to move forward. So I think that is that women. I think women do look towards men for that ability to truly be able to be in their femininity, their softness. So yeah, I think both goes hand in hand.
Okay. All right. To wrap this up, let's go around the room and answer this question. What is the key takeaway from today's discussion about fake femininity? How can we move to a more authentic version of femininity in relationships between men and women? So we'll start with you first, Dory G, and we'll come back up. What are the key takeaways from today's discussion about fake femininity, and how can we move toward a more authentic version of femininity in relationships between men and women?
I mean, I think it's pretty much, if it's within you, within you, and it's like, don't try too hard to show that. It's gonna come out naturally, and I think it also will come out if you have a man that kind of does the things that Viz was mentioning earlier. That can kind of bring some of that out too. So I think you just kind of being yourself and seeing if it shows. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But then it could have something to do with how you were raised too. So, that's pretty much what I take away from it.
All right, Hank.
So the question, what was the question again, there? I'm sorry.
What is the key takeaways from today's discussion about fake femininity, and how can we move toward a more authentic version of femininity in relationships between men and women?
So how can we? Well, I think if the ladies acknowledge it and see the results that some of these masculine women are really getting, and it's not the results, the desired results that they're looking for, I think that would definitely help. Don't look at femininity as a weakness or being vulnerable or nothing like that, because it can definitely be a strength. My wife, when she's in her full-fledged femininity, she could get damn near anything she wants. And when she gets on that other side, when she wants to get masculine and not always do what she needs to be doing, yeah, she's not going to get the energy she's really desired or looking for. It doesn't help. She acknowledges that. She realizes it ain't helping. When she's down there cooking my breakfast in the morning on Saturday mornings, or Sunday mornings, taking care of business, she gonna get down there whatever she gonna make sure it's done. She up there cleaning and take care of that. Washing the baseboards, washing the clothes. I'm chilling, doing what I need to do. We're out there cutting. I'm gonna come out. She gonna bring me a water. She said, "Baby, you're hot. You need something to drink." She'll bring a water out there to me. She got me. Look, baby, after I'm done cutting the grass, I'm gonna hit the shower. Let's go have some lunch. And we're gonna do our thing. And now she's getting what she wants. And she ain't got to cook dinner because I done took her out to eat. She ain't got to worry about cooking dinner tonight. I done gave her a break. But why? Because she was rested in the family. She was finished. She was doing what she needed to do. She make sure I was well taken care of. Even when I didn't even ask for it, she was looking out for me and my best interest. I can't ask for much more. So yeah, ladies, get that desire that you want. Do what you need to do. Don't fall for the okie doke. You see these old angry ass, bitter ass women, mad as the mug. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to be masculine and all that. Okay, boss, boss bitch, whatever you want to call yourself. Cool, do that. And on outside, they go into that cold, lonely ass room, hold up in a fetal position, looking for see if her rose full of char so they can use it tonight. Because they ain't got no goddamn warm body to lay next to them. Be that chick. No, that's right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just bouncing off what Hank said, yeah, like when I make my man breakfast in the morning before he goes to work, that makes me feel feminine. I love doing that. I love baking. Find what makes you feel feminine, ladies. It looks different for everybody. Not everybody's gonna have the same thing. For some women, it's cooking and cleaning. Some women is, honestly, like shooting a gun or gambling. It's different for everybody. So, and also bouncing off, I think what Doris was saying, or maybe it was Hank, but don't look at femininity as a weakness. You can get anything, and I don't want to say it like that, but you can really get anything you want if you just rest in your femininity, girl. That's all you got to do. You can have these men eating out the palm of your hands. All you got to do is be feminine. That's it. But yeah, no, seriously, it's just rest in it. Embrace it, love it. You don't have to do too much either. I think that was Dory that said that. You don't have to do too much. You don't have to try too hard. You don't have to be like these women on social media and Instagram. Find what works for you. Be feminine and rest in that shit.
Go ahead, Vaughn.
I pretty much agree with the same thing. It's about being yourselves, but I also agree with it's either in you or it's not in you. Not listening to people, listening to what everybody else is doing because everybody is doing different things. You definitely can get pretty much whatever you want. Being receptive, receiving from a man, just being naturally a woman. It's really not that hard. It's more stressful trying to be more masculine than being feminine. So to me, it's just being yourselves and not trying to be everyone else or what social media or what everyone else says you should be.
All right, go ahead, Viz.
I'll first say femininity is a superpower. And I'll follow that up with saying that I don't think that it's possible to fake feminine energy. I think that is, for most men, I would hope that is blaring when a woman is being fake feminine, because it wouldn't look natural. It wouldn't come off natural, or even instinctive. So yeah, I think that it's a superpower, and there's no such thing as faking it. It's either you got it or you don't. And fellas, if you got to question it, then she probably don't got it.
Go ahead, Kyle.
I would say that femininity is perceived differently by situational basis upon your significant other. It could be a sense of motivation to somebody. It could be just you touching me, you giving me words of affirmations. Femininity can be defined in so many different ways that, is valued the most to you. So I feel like you should just stay true to yourself. Like Vonnie said, stay true to yourself. Don't use, any outside sources as an
Just
advocate for
fine.
yourself.
Fine.
Just Vaughn? All right,
Just
cool.
fine.
Yeah, like don't use any outside sources as an advocate for you in your life. I would say try to cancel the noise when it comes to, you being yourself in your relationship with your significant other. And I feel like everything else is going, come tenfold for you, I would say.
Miss Callie.
I say ditto to what everybody else said. Everybody said it so beautifully and wonderfully. But then let's also go into just understanding that, everything has a foundation. And remember that I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget. But remember that true femininity is the authentic expression of a woman's strength, her softness, her intuition, and her nurturing nature. It's rooted not in societal stereotypes, but in her ability to lead with grace, empathize deeply, and remain grounded in her identity. It is not weakness or submission, but the power to influence, create, and elevate from a place of inner confidence and balance. And I think that once we kind of understand that foundation, you can then take it, twist it, and form it into however you want it to be. But there is power in femininity. That's all, folks. There is power in being a feminine woman. And, with great power comes great responsibility, as Spider-Man once said. So use it wisely.
Okay.
Yeah, I know I didn't have much to say because this is not this whole feminine stuff is not a strong topic for me. So I will have more to say on other topics. Just to FYI.
It's okay. Dory G, it's a work in progress. That's all. One day at a time. It'll come to you. I'll go ahead and get my final thoughts on this. A lot of y'all just don't know no better. In my hink voice, your mammy ain't teaching. But it's okay. It's okay. We have the beauty of the internet and all this technology out here for you to get some of this gang and soak it up. I stated this earlier that a lot of people don't like change and a lot of people don't want to get uncomfortable, but there may be some pros. There may be some positives, some pluses if you just attempt to tap into the other side. You won't know unless you try. You got to experiment. You got to test it out. That could be one of the biggest reasons why you may not be yielding the results that you desire, is because you are strong mentally, but not kind. So just because your mama was that way don't mean you have to be that way. She didn't know no better either. She was just surviving in her own head without structure. But it doesn't mean that you have to follow behind our footsteps in every way. You know, you can have a kind heart, but you can be different in your relationships. If she wasn't yielding results that she was given throughout her lifetime, then you might want to start exploring some other options as far as how you need to navigate your relationships. I think people like to put these place cards and think that every relationship is going to be the same. Every relationship is going to be different. Relationships require work. And I stated this before on these panels, that you have to wake up and choose to voluntarily handle whatever that day is going to hold, but you don't know. People are unpredictable. That person is not in your presence 24/7. So when they go out there into the world, you don't know what type of experiences they're going to bring back home. And you have to be willing to go through that. And that's just life, period, though. It does not just only apply to relationships. You never know what life is going to give you. It's up and down. It's like the stock market. You can wake up and it can plummet. You can wake up and your person, your spouse, your husband, your wife, they may not be the same person for whatever reason. And you have to make a conscious decision to tackle that. But there's beauty in it, man. There's beauty in femininity. I don't know why people are against it. Just try it. Just be a little bit of balance, have a little bit of some of everything, and I think that you'll be cool, man. But hopefully y'all enjoyed the show, man. I want to thank Nike and Dory G for coming up.
Yes, thank you for having me up. This was dope. Love this.
Yeah, I want to thank Nay for showing up as well. I know it's our first time. Vaughn ain't seen you in a while. It's always a blessing to have you grace the panel. Callie, you did your thing, man. Thanks for holding it down throughout the entire show and giving that good energy. Kai Sully, man. We're gonna start to get Kai to talk a little bit more. I think he got a lot to say, man. So we're gonna make sure we get him out there in these YouTube streets. And Viz is Viz, man. You just never know what you're gonna get with Viz, man. But I want to thank Viz for presenting this version of him today. He was playing it safe, man. He didn't want to have no pause moments today. But yeah, I see. Oh, look at you. Yeah, okay. You on cold today. Viz on cold. That's that cold right there. Yeah, on cold. But do me a favor, y'all. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got the Thursday show tomorrow. It's going down. So we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but expect to be there. Let's make sure we support each other. If they do have their IGs and got things going on, let's make sure we support each other the same way that you guys support here. Until next time, we are out. Thank you guys.